Okay, did Nintendo just kill shovelware? Well, that update did more than just wind people up. They certainly have changed a number of things. We're going to talk about what that actually means and what it looks like practically when you're using the eShop. Have Nintendo actually done something good? Well, let's find out. So, Glenn, I was just chatting to you about it there. They have changed the way that the eShop sorts its games.
Yeah, so you said that before this they did it as per number of downloads in terms of what would be pushed on a search, and now they've changed it so it's done as per revenue. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe that's correct. So previously, I mean, we've all seen it, haven't we? Over the years, you've got these companies that are producing Call of Modern Warfare Duty Simulator, and that would just be flying to the top of your eShop. Like, genuine indies were gradually sinking down and down and down. And then we had this thing, didn't we, where companies were constantly making like bundles out of everything. It looks, hopefully, like that has actually improved. Now I'm looking at you generally have the all games section, which tends to be more Nintendo dominated, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then you get the other side. What is it? It's like the download only side.
Yeah,
And that's finally, it actually looks like it's mostly indies. And that was kind of one thing I was a bit worried about was would this change negatively impact indie developers,
Yeah, so looking at that download only part on the charts, you mean, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
There's still some very good indie games on here, actually. In terms of, as you said, a positive spin on it. So because obviously this is something that we wouldn't see when we look on the eShop. This is just all the number crunching behind the scenes. So you anticipate this means that a lot of the deep sales may now disappear because companies were trying to get as many downloads as possible. When I'm looking at that, does that mean that companies are not going to be as enticed to go on as deep a discount, or will they still see a value to doing that?
Yeah, like you say, maybe they won't be as enticed to go stupidly low, for some of the bigger names. Something like you'd anticipate a game that normally retails at 20 quid, rather than going down to like 90% off, maybe it will go down to 50% off, and they won't have to worry so much about not being seen because they're going to make the same amount of money or close to it,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still trying to get my head around it because most companies go pretty low now, don't they, in terms of sales? You're seeing 90% is quite a standard number across, irrespective of whether it's a shovelware game or not, irrespective of the size of company or the perceived quality of the game. I just worry that perhaps now it will mean that as the consumer, it may well fix the eShop and that'll be good, but as the consumer, you won't get as good a deal anymore.
Yeah, I guess you kind of, it's interesting. I just feel like there's more to it, than meets the eye. A lot of websites have reported on the whole, the 3-day thing, but that still doesn't fully explain to me why, like you say, these big companies dropping to it by 90% wouldn't still make overall the same or more revenue. I wonder if there is some form of sorting system or something underneath the hood. I hope there is. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the charts at the minute, there's not a game on here that you'd look at and think, how on earth is that on there?
Exactly.
Exactly. There's a very strong lineup, even if you go to downloads only and exclude, I suppose, a couple of the bigger names, if you like. It's still very strong. So it could well be that they have done something. I don't even think any of these games are on sale, funny enough, the ones that are in the charts at the minute, which is odd.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Like, they've kind of gone up to their normal prices, and this chart actually looks like you'd be happy to make a list out of that chart, wouldn't you?
Yeah, there's not really a bad game on there from the ones I've played, and there's nothing where even the thumbnail's making you think, what on earth is that,
Yeah, no, it's really good. I've noticed that the top game, have you seen, is the 100-line Last Defense Academy.
Yeah, you've got some decent ones on there. You've got things like 9 Souls. Thank goodness you're here. That's a good game. Sunder Folk's just come out, isn't it? And that's on the charts already. Grounded, another one. So there's, the cream is kind of rising to the top on that chart.
Yeah, and that's the way it should always have been, isn't it? I think people will be really happy with that change.
Yeah, but I do think there must be more to it than just the way they're sorting, or at least the way it's been described, because I can't see it having made such a big change so quickly if it would just that.
Yeah, I completely agree. Even going through like the sales top games, I'm like, okay, normally I'd see like 460 different like bundles. I'm not seeing the same level at all. I'm going through these sales, I'm like, this is good game after good game after good game. It feels like a culler's happened.
Yeah, they've definitely done something, I think, in terms of that. But yeah, if it's just the sale angle, which I don't think it is, it just doesn't. It doesn't correlate. You know, that surely it's only been a couple of days since the update. If that,
no, it doesn't.
It wouldn't have taken effect that quick, I don't think.
Completely right. Yeah, exactly right. I think there's a lot here that, like you say, it doesn't quite add up, does it?
I don't know how they could have done it. I'm trying to think if there's like almost like an invisible rating system that they themselves have implemented, but there's no way they could have done that because there's no consumer feedback, is there? I don't know what they could have done. I hope it isn't just done on what you said, revenue versus downloads, because I can see that coming back and biting the customer a bit too much, you know?
Yeah. There's one other thing that I didn't realise, and you may have done, I think you kind of mentioned this actually, that you can still kind of do the old way of using your games. You know, where you used to be able to have the same game running, but obviously you couldn't do it with two switches at the same time.
Yeah.
There's like a buried setting in your profile, and it really is buried. You have to go into your profile and down to user settings, and then there's a new setting called online license settings.
Right.
Did you know about that?
No, go on.
No, and in there it's defaulted to off. If you switch it on, you can kind of use your games as you did before. Yeah, obviously just without two people using them at the same time. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, there are a few bits they've changed with this update. Something else I noticed that's not necessarily pertinent to this conversation, but it does just show some of the bits that have gone on kind of unreported, is that, you know, when you switch one of your switches to be your primary console.
Yeah.
When you used to do that, if you wanted to do that, if you had more than one switch, you went across to your username within the eShop, and there was a setting in there that quite clearly said primary console, yes or no, basically, and it would tell you for each switch whether it was or wasn't. They've changed that now to something else.
Right. So they've made the primary console thing redundant, have they?
Not quite redundant, but they've certainly reworded it, and I don't know if that's with what's coming next in mind. It's called now, let me find it, pass enabled console. So your pass enabled console in the past was the one that you had any sort of passes on. I'm assuming that means like season passes or things like that.
Yes.
Like let's say you bought content for Just Dance or something like that, you know, you could then use it as long as your pass enabled profile was on that switch. Anyone else that was on that switch that had a profile could use that pass enabled content.
Right, okay.
So they've now gone away from primary and secondary console and just had this pass enabled console, and again you'll have to choose one if you have more than one that is your pass enabled console.
Right, okay. It's all so confusing to me.
Yeah, it may just be words. It may effectively do the same thing as before, but it's just a name change. But I do think they're gearing it very much towards what they want the Switch 2 to be.
Yes.
And they want the Switch 1 to fall in line with that once it all goes live, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. There's one other nice feature that they've actually added, which is quite consumer friendly, I guess. You can basically back up your entire Switch to the cloud, rather than having to just directly transfer to Switch 2.
Right.
So it means you can sell it.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's helpful, isn't it?
It is, it's pretty handy. So yeah, that is one big, decent change that they've made without really saying anything about it, which is nice.
Yeah, hopefully that will lead to the Switch 2's eShop being a lot more, not just user-friendly, but just quality-filled, you know, from the second you open it.
Exactly, yeah. Let us know in the comments what you think. I know there's obviously quite a bit of negativity around some other features. We will talk about those bits and bobs over the next coming days.
Lovely. Yeah, don't forget, if you're looking for eShop credit to use the very subject of this video, the eShop, you can use our website, switchup.gg, and doing so will get you 5% of your purchase price back as cashback. There's also a link down there to Play Asia if you want to use that and save yourself a bit of money, and it does help the channel out, which is much appreciated. Thank you to our patrons and our channel members for your continued support, and to each and every one of you for watching our videos. Take care, and until next time, happy gaming.